Yes. Selah Shalom chiming in for a hot second. Out here in the field. Testing out this Facebook Live once again. We outside. You see what it is. Yeah, man, I burn my spliff. As a roots man, Trini man, West Indian man. And we dealing with the ganja. I know some of y'all be against the ganja. But I grew up with the ganja. As a Trini man, grew up with these vibes, yeah? Roots man vibes, Rasta man vibes. You dig? Smoking the marijuana, the ganja. And it's interesting because ganja really comes from the Indians, the East Indians. They the one who brought the ganja to the Caribbeans. So a lot of times we'll look at the Rastas or Rastafari and we see the locks and we see the ganja. Not knowing that both essentially comes from out of India. Because ganja comes from the Ganja valleys and we already know, ganja comes out of India. Like those who do their homework, that's just a common thing to know. And the locks, the Sadhu of India, they wear the locks. They got some long ass locks all the way down to the ground. So when they came to the Caribbeans as indentured servants in like the 1700s, 1800s, around them times, they came with their culture. The same way that West Africans brought their culture to the Caribbeans. But it was the East Indians that brought the ganja and the locks. Because I know people from the islands, they used to tell me how, because I used to ask the question, like, especially to my mother, and I'm like, yo, how did, the cultures in the Caribbean manifest, how they came about? And it was my mother actually who told me it was like, yo, it was the East Indians who brought the ganja. And then when I further my studies with certain things in the Caribbeans, they even brought the locks too, I heard. Although locks is a custom among black people, but at this particular time in the Caribbeans, it came from the East Indians. See what I'm saying? So you got a lot of Israelites. They don't deal with the locks. They say locks is an East Indian culture and all that crazy stuff. But then when you look at the book of Numbers, chapter 6, it talks about the laws of the Nazarene when they had to let your locks grow. So in one breath, you Israelites knock the locks, but in another breath, one of the highest vows of holiness is having locks. So you got to make your mind up on that. For those Israelites who are against locks. Locks is a holy thing. When people see locks, they respect it. Well, nowadays, they done turned it to something else. The younger generation made locks into something. You got to look like dread. You know what I mean? When they say dread, you look dread. That's what they done turn locks into. Dreadfulness, fearfulness, because of their behavior and actions. But that's a whole nother topic. Just out here enjoying the vibes. As I light my spliff, we got in here. It's early. What's good, bro? Peace, King. What it do? One demand. I see you. I'm out early with it. Out here walking the dogs. I gotta walk my wolves. Gotta get that exercise in. Yeah. Just vibing out. What it's looking like. It's a nice day. Not too cold. I'm gonna start doing these YouTube lives soon. Just getting a little thing situated. So when I start, I ain't gonna have no interruptions. Go hard body with the information. Start calling out these debates, different topics. I see all them cats who was talking on Facebook. They ain't chimed in yet. They ain't chimed in yet to defend their God. You dig? Yeah. They're not defending their God, so I guess they God weak. Yes, sir. Yes, as you see, I like to smoke my weed. You know what I'm saying? That's an herb, an alkaloid plant. Weed is an alkaline plant. Whether it's naturally even hybridized, it still falls in the alkaline realm. You better off smoking weed than eating that lamb, eating that goat, eating that steak. Should have give your ass carcinoma, nigga. Keep eating that steak. Keep eating the living animals that Jehovah created alive. He gonna make you get sickness and diseases, especially in this era, because Jehovah said this is the 7th era. I command man to change from a carnivorous man of contention to an herbivorous man of peace. That's a commandment. So those who continue indulging in flesh foods is gonna get sick. They're gonna die off. Because when Jehovah says a commandment, ain't no playing around with that. You follow the instructions, you're gonna live. Look at through this COVID. Like this past summer, COVID was going crazy. Nigga, I'm out in the club. I'm out all over the place. Nothing. No nothing. No COVID, no nothing. Everybody around me got COVID. My whole squad got COVID. The whole summer, I'm chilling. No COVID. You know why? Because I'm practicing that dietary law. Sticking to them herbs. Keep purifying the body. See, diet ain't gonna purify the body like the herbs. It's the herbs, it's the plants where you're gonna get your real cleansing from. Eating apples, eating grapes, eating watermelon, that ain't gonna clean your blood. But it's the herbs, it's the roots, the leaves, and the stalk where you're gonna get your real healing from. Because if watermelons could heal, shoot, that'll be the #1 healer. Yo, you could cure this disease from watermelon alone. If it was that easy. But nah, it takes a little bit more than that. Your blood need iron. You know what I mean? The greatest concentration of iron is not found in fruit, it's found in herbs. Yellow dock, burdock, sarsaparilla. Those are high concentrated herbs that has iron in it. You're not gonna find iron on a scale like that in fruits. Most fruits are just oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon based for the most part. But it's your herbs where you're gonna find those real roots, those real minerals to address certain depleted or dehydrated minerals in the body. Let me light my spliff, hold up. I'm back. Just had to put the phone down for a second and light my joint. You know how that go. The closing function. Make you taste the smoke. Yeah. But like I said, it's the herbs. That's where the healing is at. That's why in the Bible it says the herbs are for the healing of the nations. It didn't say the fruits are for the healing of the nations. Because the science of minerals is in the herbs. You know what I mean? So when I stay on my herbs, man, I don't get nothing, bro. Like I said, this whole COVID season, I ain't get a sniffle, bro. And I ain't even gonna lie, I wasn't even wearing my mask. You know, my mother was like, boy, wear your mask, but you have to wear your mask. You don't get COVID and ting there. You know what I mean? I'll do it out of courtesy, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, like the whole summer, man, I was trying through clubs, packed clubs. Next day, my people hitting me up, yo, I'm sick, I got the COVID. I'm sitting up here like, word? Y'all niggas sick? Damn, all right, I'm feeling good, though. Hit them off with some tea. Boom, they feel a little better. So I'm just saying that to say that when you're on top of your health, especially dealing with the herbs, Jehovah gonna provide for you, gonna protect you, because you're doing according to his commandment. Taking the herbs. The dietary law is the first commandment. Before any other law given, the dietary law is the first, because before you could speak, you gotta eat. A baby don't know nothing about no commandments. The baby don't know nothing about no 10 commandments. The baby don't know nothing about no Moses. But that baby gotta eat. And depending on what you feed that baby will determine his existence, his level of purity or impurity. This is why it's important to purify your children. Even if you eat meat, don't suffer your kids to eat that shit. You know what I mean? Find alternative. Be a little bit more wiser on educating your children on your diet. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we at the 7th era. Jehovah said, I command you to turn from a carnivorous man of contention to an herbivorous man of peace. Herbivore. He didn't even say fruitarian, but herbs. Because herbs is where the mystery at. If the temple of God is the body, the herbs is the mystery. Because you're going to need them herbs to unlock certain biochemical in your body to activate certain chakras, like some of y'all deal with chakras. In order to activate the chakras on the higher frequency, you got to be in the herbs. You got to know your herbs. You got to know what mineral do what. If you low on iron, you're anemic. That means you need more iron. You need to eat more herbs that's iron based. You're not gonna find iron in fruits like that. You're gonna find iron in your herbs like yellow dock, burdock, sarsaparilla, just to name a few. Those are iron based herbs. You just take those 3 herbs and you really get sick. Just based off of those iron based herbs. So if you keep eating them dead animals, what's going to happen is that you're going to create mucus, you're going to create gunk in your bloodstream. And that's going to slow down your blood. So your blood is in motion. Everything is circulating in your blood, in your body for the most part, especially your blood system. You slow down your blood, that's going to create blood clots because there's too much gunk in the bloodstream, and it's going to slow down the movement. It's a simple math. Once you understand this shit, it's a simple math. You just got to get the basic mathematics to really understand what's going on. So calcium, your bones are made of calcium. So you got to find herbs that's calcium based so you can maintain your bones. If you ever notice your bones is real brittle and like crack a lot, you need calcium for your bones. Calcium for your bones, iron for your blood. Iron is probably one of the most important minerals because the iron, which is blood, and your blood system is connected to every organ. So if you got a fucked up kidney, if you got a messed up liver, the issue is going to be in the blood somewhere because the blood's duty is to supply oxygen to the organs. So if your organs start to become dehydrated, the problem is going to be in the blood somewhere. Uric acid. When you got too much acid in the blood, and once that blood gets to that organ, regardless of what organ it is, it's going to start creating inflammation to that organ. Like for the liver. If you get too much acid to the liver, it's going to create hepatitis, inflammation of the liver. If you get too much acid in the bones, it's going to create arthritis, inflammation of the bones. See that? Because the blood is carrying positive charge oxygen cells to these organs, and the positive charge oxygen cell is an acidic oxygen cell. Your body needs negative charge oxygen cells. Yup. How to eat to live. That's right, family. Smoke it. You already know. Oh, we smoked the ganja. We smoked the marijuana over here. You got cats that'll be against the marijuana, but then they got lamb and chicken and steak on their plate. Come on, bro. We ain't gonna play them type of games. Not with me. Marijuana is a plant. It's a herb. You know what I mean? Drop the seed in there and grow some yourself. But like I said, in order to keep the body healthy, you got to be on your herbs. That's why a lot of vegetarians still be sick when they turn vegetarian, because they ain't stepped into the mineral domain with the herbs. See what I'm saying? You got to understand the mineral game. Vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin B, all that is bullshit. Because those are not minerals. Those are chemical compounds to create and put a name on the minerals. So like vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin B, all that, when you look at the minerals that make that up, it's hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. The only difference is the concentration of carbon in each cell. So watermelon may have, let's say, 10 carbon cells to that atom. A grape may have 14 carbon cells to that atom. See what I'm saying? The greater the carbon cell, the sweeter the fruit. Let me say that again. The greater the carbon, the sweeter the fruit. Yeah. And the colors of the fruit play a role, you know. Like your highly alkaloid fruits is deep purple, blue, those sorts of colors. Give me the one behind the born of divine Son of Man is consuming it through smoke, right, and exact or edible. I don't have either on my mental. Well, that's good, my brother. That's real good. You know what I'm saying? You don't smoke, you don't drink. That's a good habit. You dig? There's nothing wrong with that. That's one thing. I don't knock people. Just try to educate them about certain vibes. So if you do smoke weed, you know what you're smoking it for. You know what you smoke in. You know what I mean? I'm gonna use these dogs like this. You dig? Yes, sir. So stand, get on top of your diet. You know what I mean? The Creator wants you to become an herbivore in this day and age. He wants you to get on your herbs, because if you're supposed to be like the Messiah, Yeshua said, you're gonna do greater things than I. And what some of the things that he did? He did what we consider miracles. But the Messiah was vegan. He ain't ate no flesh and blood. You can't do them things and be eating flesh and blood and be chosen by God. Or true God, I should say. You know, I gotta be clear. Because through the purity comes the way you're gonna commune with the holy angels. Through purity of diet. Yeah, you gotta purify your body. That's the first step. Like I say, that's the first law. Purification of the flesh. You know what I mean? Because if you're pure from birth, that means you got more of an ability to connect with the angels of the Creator. Because your vibrational frequency will be at a higher level. See, in order to connect with some of these angels, you got to be resonating at a high vibrational frequency. Because they vibrating outside of visible light. So that means you got to raise your vibrational frequency to that degree. 300 to 700 nanometers, that's visible light. So anything outside of that range is what we consider the unseen realm. And you could tap into it. The Creator made it possible for you to tap into these things based off your diet. Sounds so simple. You need to come take a trip to the Bahamas, King. Oh yeah, yo, don't let me touch down in the Bahamas. You know, me see, he's a Caribbean man. Anyways, a Trini man, so you don't know if I touch down in them parts. It's problems there, you know, King. Straightforward. He's not a Yankee youth, you know. He's a Trini man. 110% Caribbean blood. You know what I mean? My blood is 110% Caribbean. Both my mother and father is Caribbean, Trinidadian. I'm the first generation born in America. So although he's among the Yankee them, although he's among the Yankee them, he's a Caribbean youth, blending with the foreign them, blending with the Yankee them, thinking me one of them, not knowing, boy, he's a Trini man, boy, he's 100% Caribbean. You mean? And you know, Caribbean people carrying mysticism about themselves. If you know anybody from the Caribbeans, you know what I mean? People like certain Rastaman them, it's a certain mysticism they carry, yo. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even with the music, look at Busta Rhymes, his background Jamaican. Look at who else? What's the other? Biggie Smalls, Jamaican. You know what I mean? Caribbean people carry a unique fashion about themselves, yeah? Straightforward, just like that, may I tell you. You know what I mean? logical people, thinking people. You know what I mean? That's where your God can't fool me with the nonsense. Your false God can't fool me with that. Fire burn them false God, yeah? And false God wanna kill off man, woman, and children and them thing that. Fire burn that, man. You mean? That's why I said I'd like to see one of you go lick down some children in the name of your God. If your God came right now and said, yo, I want you to go kill off X amount of people in the name of my name. If your God came and told you that, you gonna do it? Damn, no, right? No, I don't care if he came in a splendid light garment down to the T. If he told you to go pick up arms and go kill, you're gonna have second thoughts about that shit. Unless you're a real soldier for that God. You ask no questions, just do. Now, if you do that, I give you the utmost respect. Because you're a loyal soldier. And I'd rather a loyal soldier than a pretending one when things get hot. But that don't get you out of the fact that you're still false. You're just playing hard for that God. But I'd like to see y'all pick up the sword and go start slaying kids in the name of your God in 2022. You know damn well that shit ain't right and exact. So when you read them scriptures and you hear God talking like that within yourself, you should know damn well that ain't the Creator talking. I don't give a damn if it's in the Bible. Ain't Satan speaking in the Bible too? Don't Satan got verses in the Bible? Did not Satan come to Jesus when he was fasting and try to convince him? So Satan's word is in the Bible. But you get confused because it say God and Lord, that's the Most High every time. Y'all still caught up. Y'all ain't learning to differentiate. You know what I mean? Y'all better catch on quick for those who ain't caught on. Because of one breath, you thinking you following the Creator, and then you following the deity, and that deity not even right and exact. He ain't even righteous. He a false God. You ain't even following the true and living God. I could see if you was following the deity and he was the true and living God. You ain't even doing that. You following a nigga telling you to go kill. Why God always killing in the Bible? All the miracles he could do, but he killing all the time. Come on. Y'all ain't putting two and two together? And then in Oahspe, it tells you the gods who's doing these acts. It tells you the false gods, Baal, the false goddess Ashtoreth, the false god Osiris. And these are names we are familiar with in history. Then you have the names we're not familiar with in history, like Anu Hasaj. We hear the name Anu and Anu Hasaj. We tie that to the Anunnaki. You know what I mean? So it's still small connections even with that. So these the gods people are following. Luamon falsely styled himself the Christ. That's the God everybody under today who follow Christianity or deal with the scriptures. The God of Christianity, the God of the Roman Catholic Church, the God of Israel is Luamon in this day and time. Oahspe shows you that. Some of y'all like Luamon. Who is a Luamon? Exactly. You got to read the text to know this. These are the revelations from heaven revealed, unknown to mortals, now known. So you got to get the information to even keep up. The Creator is not in the image of a man. Oahspe clarifies that the Creator is ever present, everywhere present. And this Creator that is everywhere present has a function. It has cycles and seasons, the way it operates. So the Creator is like the grand operator. It's not a person like a sky. It's not a sky daddy. The Creator is not a sky daddy. It's not somebody sitting in space controlling things. The Creator is everything in motion, simultaneously going as a whole. So when we look at the night sky as a whole, that's the Creator's creation. It is the Creator. It is the physical manifestation of parts of the Creator. So nature, see that? Nature. That's parts of the Creator. The heavens above, that's another aspect and part of the Creator. But these functions, these aspects have seasons and cycles. We experience 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. That's the operation of the Creator. The physical manifestation of the body of the Creator. That's how it operates. So by understanding nature, we understand the Creator's cycles and seasons on a macro level. Then Oahspe shows us on a macro level that these same systems prevail in the heavens. That in the heavens, celestial bodies go through times of creation, which is your springtime, times of inhabitation, which is your summertime, time of desolation, which is your fall time, time of winter, which is the time of dissipation and death. And then what happens? The process starts all over again. So we see that through the 4 seasons, but on a grander scale, the whole planet goes through that. Understanding the Creator. And that's dealing with creation. We living on the inhabitable time on the planet. It was a time previous to humans' existence that the planet was too hostile to support human beings. But then that phase passed, and now we're in a phase where animal and man can be supported on the planet. And that's called the inhabitable age of a planet, where man could exist as a being on the planet. But the same way man was created and inhabiting the planet is the same way he's going to go into extinction as well. It's part of the cycle. It's natural. So it's going to come a time where man is going to become extinct to the planet. That's why man will never dissipate the planet. The whole idea like in Revelations and they're going to come destroy the planet and all that, nonsense. The planet is going to run its course like it's always been doing. Prior to us being here and when we leave, the planet is going to run its course. But man will become extinct. Man and woman will become extinct. It'll come a time where man will not be able to generate or reproduce seed, and so go extinct. No different than the fruits in the springtime and the summer. The fruit, the apple tree grows fruits. But then there comes a time when the fall comes and them fruits grow bare and you got to wait till next summer to grow some new fruit. It's the same thing with the human stock. We are one stock of fruit in this particular garden. We inhabiting it right now. And there's going to come a time where humans are going to go extinct. And the planet is going to become barren of animal life. And that cycle has to come back around. And another stock of humans is going to be created and inhabited in another garden. See that? See, that's the cycle of nature. So it shows you that the cycle of creation is the exact same thing. Because the Creator is demonstrating this before us. It's up to you to dictate and peep game. And Oahspe is a good guide to show you on a higher scale how these things operate. That's based off the timetables of prophecy. All right. Courtney was good. Joshua was good. Gotta learn how to discern and separate who's speaking every time. Exactly. Exactly. Because if the Creator came with a law, thou shalt not kill, if any God speak against that, you should question that God. Because you was told from the beginning, thou shalt not kill. Even in Genesis, even with Noah, after the flood, he was like, yo, don't kill, don't spill the blood of man. For he's made in the image of God. See what I'm saying? But then after that, you hear Israel talking about, we going to go kill off the Canaanites. We going to go kill off Amalek. We going to destroy the Egyptians. Where that came from? What happened, God? You switched up that quick? Bipolar. Nah. It's different gods talking at different times. Under the pretense of Lord God and God. Shalom, Courtney. It even say that in the Bible, the earth will last forever. Exactly. That's partially true. Because the earth is just like I say, like the four seasons. You got spring, summer, fall, and winter. And then a cycle continues. So the earth could exactly go through those same cycles, being everlasting in the sense of being here before and after humans. So yeah, just Oahspe just gives more content, gets a little more scientific and breaks it down a little more. Because with knowledge, we get wisdom and understanding. And there's no limitation on knowledge. So get it by all means, and then match it up with scriptures as much as you can. Big bro, what's good? Peace King, what's good? The plug, I see you. Just on here dropping some gems, freestyling some knowledge, talking about the creator and differentiating from the gods. So the creator's ever present. So the creator's presence is known to us when the inhabitable age of the earth comes. So you have the time of creation when the earth is being created from a vortex to a gas to a ball of fire. Then it melts down to the mineral kingdom. And then from the mineral kingdom to the vegetable kingdom. And then from the vegetable kingdom, animal and man. Man being the last product. So when man comes into being is when the acknowledgement of the creator comes into being to us. But that acknowledgement doesn't come right away. Just like a baby is born and you can't tell that baby, thus saith Jehovah. That baby gotta learn alphabet, speech, language before he can even get a comprehension. So the same process goes for man in the beginning. Man in the beginning was a product of the creator, but did not know the creator. He had to be taught the creator. No different than a child has to be taught. A child comes into the world knowing nothing. He has to be educated by his peers, whether it be his mother or father or any adult, to educate and teach him according to the society they live in. So same thing with the man in the beginning. Whatever continent man produced himself on, when the angels came and taught man, these were the lessons. Man was walking on all fours. They say the Caucasians was walking on all fours, but man in the beginning period was walking on all fours before he learned how to stood upright. The same way a baby walks on all fours before they learn to walk. I don't care if the baby's Caucasian. I don't care if the baby's Chinese. I don't care if the baby's African. You could place them all on the ground and they all gonna be walking on all fours, because that's the nature of how things is in the beginning. Man comes into this world blank, weak, totally dependent on his caretakers. So who are the caretakers of the first man created, or the first mortals created? Who are the caretakers? They needed somebody there to guide them. They didn't come in the world just knowing everything as grown adults. Nature doesn't show that. Nature shows that everything has to be developed and grow and be taught. Even in the animal kingdom. When animals come into the world, they got to be taught by their parents as well. Don't nothing come into the world independently knowing what the hell going on. Nothing. Especially in a human. So it was the angels that taught man in the beginning. It was the angels that taught man how to walk upright, stand up on 2 feet. It was the angels that taught man to clothe himself. Even in the false story of Adam and Eve, it still showed you that it was the angels communicating with Adam. When Adam hid himself, that's angel commune. He's talking to a God. He's talking to the Lord God. According to the text, chapter 2, he's talking to the Lord God. The Lord God is an angel. So Adam is talking to an angel about why he hiding. And the Lord say, oh, you ate of that fruit I told you not to. Whether the story is true or not, the point is that they're communicating with angels in the beginning as their guide and their teacher. So I'm just showing you briefly some of the mysteries in the beginning of creation, with creation. How man was created and how did he sustain himself if he came into the world blank as a baby, crawling on all fours, how helpless he was. Who was there to lift man up in the beginning? Because man had no example of a man to lift himself up. The first teachers of man was the animals. the angels, the animals. Man observed the animals and mimicked the animals. That's why the animals were revered in ancient times, because the animals taught man a lot of things. And then the angels came and just brought man from an animalistic nature and rose him up to be more godly in his nature than animalistic in nature. That's what the purpose of the angels was for, to make man godly, to get him out of nature, to let him realize his potential as being a god or a higher self or higher being instead of dwelling on the lower. Stand up. Stand upright, brother. You're stooping over. You see what I'm saying? So man slowly began to learn. He began to walk upright. He began to clothe himself. Then he began to learn sound. Sound. A lot of sounds of the animal kingdom you could find in the alphabets. So the angels gave man an alphabet in the beginning. Oahspe tells you this. It was the angels that gave man an alphabet. The same way that what's the African tribe? The Dogons said that some beings came down from Sirius, the Nomos, and they gave them glyphs to decipher. That's in modern times. And that ain't no made up shit. You can't tell them that they foolish for that. That's their claim. That's what they profess. It's how they got some of them glyphs and how they decipher some of them, the writings that they have. So in antiquity in the beginning, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. And then from that, man began to learn alphabet. Then you got communication amongst men, amongst people. See, this is the development of man from his creation and his progression throughout the years, the centuries, the decades, up until now. We ain't get like this overnight. You know how long it took to get where we at as intelligent beings like this? Even in ancient Egypt, as great as the pyramids was, and as great as them chambers is, it don't top today. By far, we got the ancient by far. The ancients ain't putting up in no Hellcats. You know what I mean? If the Egyptian in antiquity at its peak wanted to go to China on his best vehicle, and if we put one of our best vehicles of today and see who get there faster. See that? So stop playing. Don't sleep on the present time. We are advanced. Believe that. And some of this technology I heard was passed down from the beings. Like when you look at some of them like reptilian videos, them, conspiracy theory type videos, the hidden agenda of the government. Some of them dudes told us that like the microchip, the computer, some of that stuff was hand delivered and we just reduplicated it. We duplicated the technology with the materials we have on Earth. So it ain't too far-fetched. Definitely not too far-fetched. Book of Adam and Eve shows angels speaking with Adam. Exactly. Sure enough. That's why Clarence 13 gave the nation of gods and earth 5%, the supreme mathematics and supreme alphabets, riding his act. You know what I mean? They knocked him off because, you know what I mean? He decided to take the lessons and bring it to the people. You know what I mean? The people was acting like the 10%ers. They want to hold on. The nation was acting like the 10%ers. They want to hold on to the knowledge. Clarence 13 was like, nah, I'm going to take the knowledge. I'm going to take the 120 and bring it to the streets and let the youth have it. And that's how we got the 120. I'm way in Georgia in 97. I got the 120 lessons. I'm reading these lessons amped up. Allah, supreme, boom, boom, boom. I ain't got the lessons no more because I passed it down to somebody else. Somebody gave it to me and I gave somebody else passing the lessons. So every time you step outside the box or you think outside of the norm, you're going to get attacked. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's Israelites that hit me up that got camps. But they can't talk to their peoples like this because they're going to be like, oh, you a sellout. You selling out for Esau, the white man book. Oh, you following that Selah Shalom, this, that, and the third. But they won't take the conversation. They won't have an intellectual conversation, chapter and verse, with them texts. Because this is you dealing with people's souls and destiny. This is people's lives you dealing with. Not their physical lives, but their soul. So my whole premise is that there are false gods that hijacked the text, put their words in there, assuming to be the creator, and it's in your Bible. So you get mad when you hear that, but it's the truth. And then when we use a book like Oahspe to prove it, you try to discredit the book when the answers is plain. That's the beauty about this whole situation, because it's like the time of Yahshua. When Yahshua came, but they was expecting somebody else, or expecting a different character. They were expecting more like a David, a warrior, ready to fight and destroy the Romans on a physical level. But they didn't see Yahshua coming. They was waiting for somebody else. They denied him the whole time. A couple of people, a couple of thousand, ran with him. But on a grander scale, they denied him. So we're just like that today. Y'all thought the Bible was the final revelation. Then the Quran came. Then they said, we got the final revelation. And then other books came. And then here comes the Oahspe. Not even claiming to be no final or nothing. Just a revelation of the proceedings of the heavenly kingdom. Of what happened in antiquity, leading on up. Showing you the good, bad, and the ugly. Ain't no winners but the creator in the Oahspe. False gods lose. True God loses heavenly kingdom, but still maintain. In the Oahspe, true God don't never get jealous or angry. He bewails. He bewails that he lost his followers because they want to follow this guy. And 1/3 went with him, and he lost a good portion of his heavenly kingdom. Those are things true God be worried about. And then the creator come and be like, don't worry about that, bro. Keep running the kingdom as usual. You know what I mean? They'll be back. You see what I'm saying? And that's the cycles of how, like the Oahspe shows you, like how the kingdom is ran. How you start off as a whole team, then the team break up and divide up. Some get lost along the way. But in the end, they all come back under that same God to be restored before they can even move forward. So look at that. Oahspe shows you the depths of these things and the duration of time with these things. 400, 600, 800 year durations of time. You got people who now coming through, like from the time of the Messiah, 1st century. That's 2,000 plus years ago. You got a lot of those spirits still here. They still in the lower heavens, in the first and second heaven. You know what I mean? Some of them got it right. Some of them probably ascended at the harvest times from that time till now, every 400 years. But the stubborn ones, like if you read the book Antiquity of Jews, that's a good one. It's another like kind of like channeled book where it conjures up the spirits, and it talks about like some of the spirits of the 1st century comes and confess some of the things that transpired in the 1st century. Antiquity of the Jews. Antiquities Unveiled, I'm sorry. Antiquities Unveiled, that's the name of it. That's another good book. There was a scene in that book where, what's his name? Damn, I forgot. It was a Roman emperor at the time. Caligula, that dude. He was in the book, and he had to come make a confession. But in the book, he was still contentious, like he had his old ways. But he was forced to make the confession in the book. It was interesting how they worded it, because it was like, wow, it was like almost like they took him against his own will, and he had to confess to this particular time in history about what really happened compared to what we have in history. It's a pretty interesting book. But it showed you that these angels or these people that existed in the 1st century are still here in the lower heavens. They ain't even graduated to Etheria yet. Now you're talking close to 2,000 years ago. So you see why we go hard with this knowledge? Because do you want your duration to be 2,000 years before you ascend to the Etherian realm? Nah. We trying to get there within that 400 to 800 year period. By that 2nd or 3rd harvest, we trying to be up out of here. That's what it's about, graduating off the planet. That's what the harvest is about, graduation. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. We dealing with graduation here. So the Bible don't teach you graduation. The Bible teaches you to be locked into God, the kingdom of God, saying holy, holy, holy all day. But in the Oahspe, our duty is to graduate off the planet and get to the Etherian realms, the higher realms, and continue to grow from there. And then sometimes we may be sent on a mission to come back, like Apollo in the Oahspe. He was earthborn from the continent of Pan, and he was sent back. So that's quite interesting. Word up. King, I need that. Where can I get that? Can you send me one? What's that you talking about, King? Fill me in so I could know. But yeah, though, the Creator is where it's at. If you want to learn about the Creator, get you an Oahspe Bible. It's going to teach you the basics of the Creator. It's going to show you what happened in history. The pyramids, all that's in there. The purpose of the pyramids, why they were built, all that's in there. Whether you accept it or not, it's in there. It makes sense to me. You know what I mean? They try to say the deities of Egypt there was no deities. They wasn't glorifying or worshiping deities. It was just the aspects of nature. And to a degree that's right and exact. But that's just one area of life. Just like we have different areas of life. We have our social lives. We have our sport lives. We have our religious lives. So it's the same thing in antiquity. The Egyptians had deities that they deified. And I'll say Osiris is one of them. Because when you look at the throne of Osiris or the judgment hall of Ma'at, you see Osiris sitting on that throne. And then you see the scale of Ma'at. You see Anubis. You see the 42 judges at the top. Where you see that? Where is that demonstrated in nature? So you can't say that that's the aspect of nature. That's a proceeding that we're seeing. With somebody sitting on a head, sitting on a throne, waiting for someone to get judged. So with that being said, you cannot say that Osiris is an aspect of nature when you have that demonstration standing before us. Osiris was a false god just like the rest of them. He did his just due just like the rest of the false god. He just took a different route. See, a lot of the other gods, they took a warlike route. Osiris didn't take the war route. Osiris took the intelligent route. He said, yo, while they warring over there in the east, I'm going to build up the now. And I'm going to let them praise whoever they want. But as long as Osiris is the top god, they could worship any middleman type of talk. So when you go back and read the Book of Wars Against Jehovah and read how they strategized to conquer their kingdoms, it's deep. And we mortals are just a subject. Come on. Yeah, we subjected to the gods. Whenever the gods come, we bow down. We don't question the gods. We follow what God say, right? Exactly. So if Osiris decreed something, that's what it was. Osiris was the one behind the pyramids. You know, in ancient aliens, when they try to say the aliens built the pyramids or whatever, aliens ain't built shit. We built the pyramids, but the design of the pyramids, the blueprint came from the gods. Because Oahspe shows you that. So I'm going to show you how to build a pyramid. Measure by measure, I'm going to show you. So I don't know if he came down physically and manifested, or if he just used inspiration through his angels and had the morals through inspiration pull it off. Either or could go. But I definitely know when the pyramids was built, they manifested to them physically as sentinel beings and tangible bodies. Because when Thutmose finished the pyramids and they went to the holy chamber, that's when they found out the truth of what the purpose was this pyramid was built for. The purpose of the pyramid was for mortals to visit the heavenly kingdoms of Osiris, to furthermore convince mortals of their sure place after death. See that? But in antiquity, they really went there. The pyramid was designed for astral projection, which we will call astral projection, or to simply put it, the spirit comes out the body and goes into the lower realm, the lower heavens. That's what they were doing in them pyramids. That's what them king chambers and the queen chamber was about. Those were the initiates, the adepts, who had the ability, due to learning the lessons in the mystery schools, to go do these things. Astral project, to see these spiritual places. A lot of mushrooms, you can see the mushrooms on the wall. They took mushrooms. The mushroom is a psychedelic effect and let you tap in. So all that was going on in antiquity. They even had cocaine found in their blood. So just imagine they coked up, mushroomed up, going to see Osiris in the spiritual realm. Feel me? Oahspe explains these things. So you could be consciously aware, first, of how these gods could be deceiving, and how these gods is no more than, they're no different than us. They're human, they're one-time human beings. But they're not the creator. Cosmo Carol is good. How you feel about China and the fake sun and moon? Shoot, that was crazy, you know what I mean? It shows you where we at. That's one thing. It shows you where we at with the technology. For them to create a fireball on that scale, it shows you where we at. And that's just touching the surface. So if they could create that, ain't no telling what else they got cooked up in the laboratory. But then at the same time, man shall become as gods, being procreators. So in one breath, you could look at it as a great bad, but then in another breath, if you're supposed to be procreators, becoming like gods, that's one hell of an experiment. To pull that shit off and not destroy nothing and everything went sound, you got to give credit where credit could do. But what's their intention? That's a whole nother thing. Because, you know, China, they atmosphere fucked up over there. They got a whole smog over the city. Like, you look at Hong Kong and some of them areas, yeah, they fucked up over there. Their atmosphere is dense. So, who's to say that may be something to help purify the atmosphere? You know what I mean? We don't know. We don't know the intentions. But I'm just throwing that out there. Instead of looking at it as just a total negative, let's look at this universally, not just the bad. Just like I said with the internet. When we first heard about the World Wide Web in the mid-90s, like 96, 97, and then when 98 rolled around and it started getting closer to the millennium, and niggas was talking about the World Wide Web and how many conspiracy theories that floated around the World Wide Web. And now today, the World Wide Web is the best thing we had, because look at us now. You know what I mean? But at first, we was like, oh, Satan, the devil, Illuminati, all this shit. But look how it helps in today's time. Because this is Cosmon. Cosmon is the balance of the physical, the technology, and the spiritual. It got to be a common ground. Anything can be used for good or bad. So once the technology is created, it's up to the individual of the usage of good or bad that will determine its factor. You know what I mean? So it was kind of bugged out though, honestly. I was like, damn, they made a whole sun. But it's not surprising. Because like I said, this is where we at right now, on a technological level. In the Oahspe, it says that man will disbelieve in the creator in this day and age greater than ever before on the planet. When I read that, I was like, damn, that's heavy. Because there's some verses in the Oahspe where it states like things happened never ever before prior to that time. Like the sinking of the continent of Pan. You know, that was an event that took place that was unlike any event that ever took place on the planet, even until this day. So for the creator to say man will disbelieve in him greater than ever before, it's like for that to be said, it shows you the extreme man will go in opposition to the creator. Those would be great measures, because certain things man will do and still have godly morals and say, I'm not going to crossbreed animal and man because I know that's a sin. See, a godly person with morals won't crossbreed through genetic engineering. But a person who doesn't have no godly morals will say, let's splice this genes of this animal, let's splice this gene of this damn human, and let's see what we get here. Because he has no moral value, no godly value, no fear. So if the creator is saying that man is not going to believe greater than any other time, we about to face some wild shit. And if you really think about it, we really are facing some wild things. They just contained underground in the laboratories and stuff like that, deep underground bunkers. You heard the stories of some of the military and the technology that they got out there, and the angels or the extraterrestrials that they're engaging with. You heard about the Greys, the Reptilians, the Palladians, the Archons. Come on, the list goes on of extraterrestrial beings that the governments claim that they in contact with. So this ain't too far-fetched from, you know what I mean? That's why they probably even here in the first place, because they're like, yo, these motherfuckers on a collision course. Let's go interrupt, go talk to these world governments, because if not, they're going to decimate themselves. Trying to try some technology that they're not ready for, because they haven't developed a level of peace and patience to deal with the technology. Look what they did with the Tesla technology. Tesla wanted that for free energy. Imagine if we would have had free energy, we had to pay no bills, how more creative and talented we could bring out our talent. But we can't, because we got to work a 9 to 5, and we can't express our talent that the Creator gave us because we constantly working. Whether that talent be singing, whether that talent be dancing, whether that talent be painting, regardless of what the talent is. If we had more time to develop our talent, because things were free, we'll be in a better position. But being that we got to pay rent on the first, by any means necessary, get the rent. And that's how some people are living. They'll stick you up for that rent money. Don't get it twisted. It's real out here. You know what I mean? So that's what we dealing with. Speaking on a spiritual level, but then at the same time, got to worry about paying rent or paying bills or insurance. You know what I mean? The worldly affairs. So it gets deep. Where we at with it? True indeed. Malik's good. I live in my car. See, it's real. People be going through shit. You know what I mean? You could be living in your car. Somebody living in a mansion and they not happy. They could be living in that mansion and be not happy. Grumpy all the time, upset and mad and shit. But you had peace in your car. You know what I mean? That's where your soul resides, peace of mind. The most wealthiest and richest people, they not happy. They got all that money, cars and jewelry. That's just a facade for the show. They got to keep that up because that's how they presented themselves. But look at somebody like KRS-One, who speaks knowledge and supreme for everyone. You know what I mean? Look at him compared to the bling bling rappers. KRS-One moved like a faithless in hip hop. He moved like a faithless in hip hop. He moved like he a chosen one. Let me go this way. These dogs. But yeah, my material shit don't mean nothing. It's good to obtain if that's what you in it for. But in this day and age, showing off like that, you creating more enemies than you know. Because there's a lot of jealous people out here. There's a lot of friends you may have had from back in the day, see you blowing up, don't like that. You ain't feeding them. You gotta be careful out here. Yes. So I'm just speaking the vibes, yo. Y'all return back to the Creator's ways. Do righteousness unto others and gain knowledge. Gain knowledge of yourself. I mean, understand the human body. The body got 12 systems, just like you got 12 disciples. You hear me? The body got 12 systems, like you got 12 disciples. And the 13th was the Christ. The 13th system of the body is the spirit. The 13th system of the body is the spirit. It's the spirit that activates the 12 systems of the body. You know what I mean? Understand that. So what you understand the 12 systems, that your respiratory system, skeleton system, and you understand the minerals that make up those systems. Then you feed the food to replenish the minerals for that system. So a lot of people, when they get old, their bones get brittle because they lack calcium. People drink milk for calcium. That's nonsense. That's going to give you mucus and mucus build up in your blood and all that. You don't drink no milk. Drink you some almond milk if you're going to drink milk. You know what I mean? You're going to get calcium. You can get that in sea moss. Sea moss is high in calcium. Sea moss is an ocean. It's an ocean seaweed. The ocean water is 8.5 alkaline. Cancer cells die at 8.5 alkaline. So what does that tell you? If you got cancer. Oh, man, you ain't. I know, right? All right. So if cancer cells die at 8.5 alkaline, what does that tell you? Get herbs and foods that are on that alkaline level. Mainly seaweeds, because you're already at 8.5 if you get sea moss. Sea moss, damn, they got all the minerals in it coming out the ocean. Sea moss is high in calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron. Shoot, sea moss, that's why people in the Caribbean coming back to the Caribbean again. Like when I was little, I was a strong kid, Joe. Niggas was like, damn, June's strong, this cat's strong. Like when we used to play football like 10, 11 years old, big brolic nigga, I was a big nigga. But my mother was feeding me that sea moss back then. My friends ain't know nothing about no sea moss. All they knew was soda, Reese's, Snickers, milk. That's what they were eating. While they was eating, although I was still, I was young, so I was still eating meat. But my mother had me on them herbs. On that bush tea, that sea moss, that Moby bark. As youth, we was on that. So when it come to racing and shit, I was out running all these cats. I was the fastest dude. I was one of the fastest dudes in school. Because of that. I ain't know it then, but I know now. You know what I mean? I used to backflip and all that. We used to have backflip competitions. See who could do the most backflips or whatever the competition may be in the flip. We used to pull that off. I was nice in that too. Not knowing it was the diet the whole time. Mom Duke's feeding me that sea moss, keeping them bones strong. Yes, sir. That's why Dr. Sabi could drop on his knees and stand back up. That was due to that sea moss. Yes, sir. Sea moss, yo. Sea moss, that's what you want. I got the sea moss in a full body detox. I got the sea moss in the immune system booster. Those things go hard. Yes, sir. I feel that, King. I feel that. You know what I mean? We go through stages in lives, you know what I mean? Even when you read the story of the prophets, some of the prophets had to go through levels of poverty. You know what I mean? Because what you go through, the reward is going to have an outcome. You ain't going to be in the car forever. That's just momentarily. But take the blessings when you see them. That's what the Creator say. He sends blessings. But you have to be able to pick up on them when you see them. For example, say if I'm looking for a job, I'm stressed out, and I'm looking for a job, and I pray to the Creator, I need to find a job so I can have some income, so I can support myself, right? And then you say, all right, I'm kind of hungry. I got a couple dollars. I'm going to go to the store and go give me something to eat. And on the way to the store, you hear somebody at the bus stop having a conversation about job openings. But that's in the midst of you walking past. Now, that's the sign right there. It was up to you to go intervene and say, yo, you said they got job openings. Where now? I'm looking for a job. Oh, here, brother, here go the number. They hiring today. And then you get the job. But you got to be able to read the signs when they come. Let the ego go. Let the pride go. See the signs and jump on them. That's how we advance. That's how we get the things we want when we read the signs. Believe you me, I know. I done read many signs and I done passed upon many signs. When you pass upon a sign, you look back and think about it. So for example, say you don't intervene and ask the man for the job and you just walk past, go get something to eat and come home. You know what you'll do? You'll reflect. You would reflect on what you heard at the bus stop and be like, damn, son, this said he had the opening. You may even run back up there to see if the guy's still there, but he gone now. You missed that window of opportunity. When that window of opportunity come, take it. Take it. That's how the Creator moves. Those are the signs of the Creator through the guardian angels, you have to be able to recognize, because the guardian angels are always around you and they're always trying to help you in whatever condition you're in the situation. They're always going to send you people. They're going to send you signs, but it's up to you to accept and receive the signs when they're given. It was a sign given for the Oahspe. I could have missed out on that shit. Let me tell you how. Let me tell you how I could have missed out on the knowledge of the Oahspe. Me and my men at the park rolling up a spliff about to smoke. And some dude see us doing that. So he walks up to us with this book in his hand and was like, yo, you mind if I hit y'all blunt? And, you know, we some peaceful niggas. You know, when he said that, he had an accent, like a little Caribbean accent. So, you know, I'm Trinidadian and my man Guyanese. So we're like, yeah, come true. So we burning the spliff. So I see he got this book in his hand. I'm just looking at the book like, I ain't saying nothing. And now, don't get me, I forgot how we got on the topic, but he was like, what did he say? He said it wasn't God that sacrificed Isaac. He said it was a false God, it was an evil angel. And then he opened up the book as if like he was going to show me. So I'm like, damn, what book is this that talk about Abraham outside the Bible? That's what I said to myself. And then he got to the book, showed me, and I read it, and I was like, Then I started looking at the titles. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? Where you get this book from? And he was giving me his story, but I was stuck. Like, yo, me and my man was stuck. We was glued because we was like, you know, as Rasta man dealing with Jah or Jehovah already. Yo, chill. They deal with Jah or Jehovah already. So when we seen the book of Jehovah, I was like, damn, they got a book called the Book of Jehovah in this? And then I'm looking at all the titles. Jehovah, the Book of Jehovah, like Book of Osiris, son of Jehovah, Book of Thor, son of Jehovah, Book of Fratipagi, son of Jehovah. So I'm like, damn, what is this? Now, I could have brushed the book off and like, oh, that was a nice book and left it at that. But when we left, me and my man was like, after we spoke with him and chopped it up with him and smoked with him, me and my man was like, yo, that book was deep. That shit was talking about life after death and the shit you do got affect with your life after. We was stuck. We was like, oh shit. We were so stuck that like the next day we went to the library and looked the book up. We forgot what the book was called, but we ended up finding it because we remember he was saying like Oahspe. That's how, like when I first got the book, that's how I was introduced to it. It was Oahspe. He was saying it wrong too. So we in the library looking up Oahspe. We trying to figure out how to spell it. I was like, yo, I remember it was an O and an A and a SP something. So we finally found it. And then we right there in the library reading the shit like, yo, this fucking book is crazy. So when I got to the crib, I went and started printing the book out on my printer. I got it all the way up until the Book of Fraggle Patty, and the shit was like thick as a motherfucker. It was crazy thick. And I was like, damn, I ain't even got halfway through the book, and I still got all that. So I told my mother about the book. I said, yo, Ma, this book right here, because, you know, Caribbean people are already spiritual. So I was like, yo, Ma, this book talk about life after death on a whole nother level. So I was reading some of the passages, and she was like, So to my surprise, she ordered the book. And when Dad came home, I seen the book. I was like, oh, shit. She was like, here. I'm like, all right. So she got me my first copy. Nigga, I read that whole book in like a month. Within a month, I read the whole Oahspe. I had the paperback. Then I brought the hardcover. But if I would have never took that sign or that that sign when the book was given, I could have passed upon it and missed the whole fucking Oahspe, and been out here trying to be an Israelite worshiping these false gods. So when you see the sign, the Creator's gonna send you signs to his guardian angels, and you gotta take it when you see him. And that could be in any facet of life. That's just my journey of spirituality. I'd rather talk to you about spirituality. You know what I mean? Other than, you know, if you want to talk about money and cars, there's other people for that. Your taxes, your credit game, there's people for that. But I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk to you about your spirituality and your soul, because that's what's going to determine everything after you die. Because all the credit, you can have the best credit score and then you die, and that's credit score left behind. You know what I mean? You can have the best car insurance, but when you die, that insurance left behind. You can have the best house. When you die, that left behind. You can have the greatest family, but when you die, your family left behind. But it's preparation of the soul that counts. So if you want to see your family after death, y'all could be in the same heavenly realm after death if y'all living according to the ways of the Creator. Yeah. How you spell it? It's Oahspe. Oahspe. Stands for sky, earth, and spirit. That's what the book means. Sky, earth, and spirit. Let me take a sip of some water right quick. Yeah, that's what it means. So, you know what I mean? I recommend the book. Y'all get on it while it's here, while y'all got this information. Because you see how I go hard with the information. Try to open up the eyes of the people. And I don't open up plenty eyes. I could literally say thousands of people I didn't open up their eyes to this Oahspe. Because when I came to the Oahspe at that same time, that story I'm telling y'all when I got the information, there was no videos on YouTube about it. There was no videos on the lessons of Oahspe. I'm the first one who actually put lessons on the Oahspe on YouTube. And I caught it right at the cusp, because that's when like YouTube was first popping and shit like that. So I caught it right there. The first couple of videos I put up was the moon cycle ones. That's when I put up the 12-year challenge on Facebook earlier. When I was like, let's do a 12-year challenge, 12-year knowledge challenge. That picture's when I first started with the moon cycles. That's the very first video I did, understanding the moon cycles, 12 years ago. Had it laid out back then. You know what I mean? Breaking down the Feast of Israel, aligning the Feast of Israel with the moon cycles back then. This was before the camps was popping. ISUPK been around, but this is before IUIC wasn't even around. Nathaniel was still on the corner on the parkway preaching with the mic at this time. A lot of them cats that got big camps at that time was just now starting out. So you believe what I'm saying? I could rival with the best of them. I just been humble. I just been on the back burner. I ain't trying to prove nothing on the ego. I just want to bring out the information. But I'll hang with the best of them. Nathaniel, Zabak, Tazariak. You put me in the room with the Oahspe chapter in reverse with any one of them, and that's going to be easy work. And for those who know the Oahspe, know that. For those who don't know the Oahspe, are still curious because it's a white man book, then y'all going to see the work and demonstration. Then it's going to be like, it's like martial arts. It's like martial arts. You know what I mean? If your trainer is a white man, but you beating everybody else, what does that say? Do we revere the white man, or do we revere his strategy and art of the technique? See that? So that's how it is with this, with the knowledge. The hell who came with it. Let's demonstrate the technique to see who technique stands the best. Who comes out on top. So like I said, you can get the best of them. The best of the Hebrews. And we'll make them look like play with this knowledge of the Oahspe. What do you mean? All right. Yes, King. No ego, yo. No ego. When I offer these debates, that's not an ego. When I be talking on Facebook, challenging the text, screaming out Bible verses and talking about it, that's not ego. That's confirmation. I'm bringing awareness, critical analysis and thinking. Do you really know what you're following? Yahshua said, you don't know what you worship. We know what we worship. It's the same thing today. You think you know what you worship. Some of these camps will tell you, like, God coming back to go slaughter. They're going to be right there with God ready to slaughter. They with the bullshit. See that? But what they're not aware of is the conditions that await them after death for participating in warfare. They think they're going to go to war with the nations, win, throw them in the lake of fire, and they're the end. But they don't realize that they could be part of that fire as well if that false god got more power than them. Israel lost plenty of battles in the land of Canaan. Israel went into captivity. That means the gods who was leading the captivity is stronger than your God at the time. Oh, we broke the law, statutes, of the commandments. Well, that shows weakness. That means the God of the Babylonians triumphant over your God. But if your God is the supreme, how you let that happen? We broke the commandments. Damn, okay. So the Babylonians, did they not break the commandments? Did their God tell them thou shalt not kill too? But they came into Israel slaughtering man, woman, and children, decimating the land in the name of their Babylonian God. They broke the laws too then. So y'all in equal playing ground. Now it's who's gonna rival who physically. Your God left you. Now it's up to you physically to battle these Babylonians, Assyrians, to prove on a physical level who's stronger. And they won. The Babylonians won. They took your ass into captivity. Left your ass dead. Daniel was born into captivity. You know what I mean? And by the time Cyrus came around and gave you a little privileges, said, you know what, we're going to let you rebuild the second temple under our authority. So go ahead and go back to Jerusalem and rebuild the second temple. And God's playing y'all, man. Y'all ain't dealing with the creator. Y'all dealing with gods, and these gods are using you as chess pieces. Just like the Democrat and the Republican. They both on the same team, but they got them thinking they got y'all believing that it's two separate teams. Some of these false gods, they playing both sides. Some of them got real beef, but some of them was started off cool. When you read the story of Baal, Ashtaroth, Osiris, they started off cool. They had agreements, they had districts of land, so nobody would cause confusion, and then shit started hitting the fan. They started beefing big time over territory, then war, and then the wars took place on earth, and then you got the wars all going on all over the land of Canaan, or the land of Israel, even to this day. Palestinians, and Israelis, and all that, and the Muslim nations surrounding them. That's a hostile environment. Anybody living in them environments, living in a hostile environment, because them false gods is active of what they did in the antiquity and got the mortals still carrying and participating till this day, dealing with warfare. Yeah. So I'm just enjoying the day, dropping some gems. You know what I mean? Tell your teachers to chime in. Tell your imams to chime in. Tell your Kohen priests to chime in. Because this is where the real truth at. You don't believe me? Ask your imam. Ask your Kohen priest. Ask your rabbi. What is the difference between God, and Lord? Ask them that one question and see what they say. See if it adds up to anything we come with over here. The chapter and verse. We know what we worship, but do you know what you worship? That's the question at hand. Yeah, I'm enjoying this little bill right here. I'm thankful for this here. No doubt, Ken. You know what I mean? This wisdom of the creator. Direct inspiration coming from no book. When you read it from a book, it's indirect inspiration. When you're speaking it like this, it's direct inspiration. The inspiration flowing freely from the creator, through the Lord God, through the Lord, through the guardian angels, to you, the individual. That's how it's trickled down. I see you, Israel. That's right, catching these gems at work, you know what I mean? So yeah, be mindful of what you believe in and what you think is true. It's been a lot of, Satan, in the Bible it say, what it say about Satan? He deceived the whole world. And it say he's a master deceiver. You can't hold those words lightly. To be a master of something, that means you genius in what you do. To say that Satan rules the world, he has the majority influence. So now that you got this Bible, and those words were echoed 2,000 years ago. So now that you got this Bible, you thinking it's the word of God, but how do you know if Satan beguiled the whole planet 2,000 years ago and he's a master deceiver? You think he ain't deceived the word of God? You think he ain't write himself in there? Thou shalt worship no other God but me? Go kill off the Canaanites, go kill off Amalek, go kill off man, woman, and children? You got to question that. In the Oahspe, true God ain't telling nobody to go kill nothing. If false gods comes into the territory of the righteous, A lot of times the righteous or true God send out messages through the guardian angels to tell mortals to flee from that area. So mortals may have a 7-day advancement or told 7 days in advance to flee from that land prior to the invaders coming in. The same way the angel came to Joseph and told to take the child into Egypt until Horeb is dead. Those will be the signs from the Creator through true God, through the guardian angels to us on how to flee to avoid persecution. That's one aspect. Another aspect is you may get caught out there in persecution and you may get persecuted and killed. But just because you get persecuted and killed, you, your family, your children, that doesn't necessarily mean you condemned. When you die and your spirit is born through that catastrophe, through that slaughter, the angels of true God, the guardian angels, will deliver your spirit. And you would not go into the ways of the false God's heavenly kingdom. You'll be captured by the guardian angels of true God and taken to be recovered, redeemed, healed from the chaotic experience you just went through. See that? That's if you were a servant of the Creator and if you get caught in conflict and actually get killed in conflict. Although you got slew and persecuted, your spirit still went to the true God's heavenly kingdom because you was a follower of true God. And that's what it boiled down to. But if you participate in the bloodshed, say you are not a follower of true God and you're another false God in battle, what would happen at the time of death? After your slaughter, the emissaries or the guardian angels of the false God in battle will capture your soul and take you to the heavenly areas of that false God you're in battle with and cast you around with walls of fire. And you will be confined, almost like in jail. That's what the false God emissaries will do to your spirit after you get slaughtered. But if you serve the Creator in that exact same position, in that exact same condition, your spirit won't go to the emissaries of the false gods. But the guardian angels of the Creator will take your spirit and take you to the heavenly kingdom of true God to get purged, to get redeemed. Because if you get slaughtered, your spirit is going to be chaotic. Just imagine you seeing your family get killed and then they save you for last. You're going to be born in spirit chaotically, bewailing, wild, deranged. Those are people who die in spirit in that manner. That's how they're born in heaven. That's how they're born in spirit. If they die on a battlefield through warfare or anything chaotic like that, they'll have a chaotic spirit birth. But that does not negate the fact that the angels won't come and assist you and deliver you and redeem you back to consciousness. That's why it's important not to partake in these false gods, so you don't become captured by these false gods, emissaries, or guardian angels after death. If you're following the Creator has a guardian angel that's assigned to you from the Creator side. But if you're following these false gods, if you're following Islam, if you're following Christianity, then you may be in danger of being cast in hell after death because you're dealing with deities that are fighting for domain. And if they got to kidnap you and make an example out of you, that's what they'll do. So it gets deep. It gets very deep. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the life after death, that's why it's important thou shalt not kill. That's why it's important to stay with the Creator's ways. So your deliverance after death will be into the hands of the righteous angels dealing with the Creator and true God, and be restored in the correct heavenly kingdom and not one of these false gods' heavenly kingdom. You dig? But y'all, I'm about to walk back to the car. Nice building with y'all. Just want to chime in for a second. And we're going